newest addition to the Chipotle kitchen.
All right, to anyone who's watching right now, we're just gonna take another minute before we get started here. Go get everything in place here. There we go. Yeah, all right. Anybody, let's see, anybody watching yet here? If you can just say anybody who's watching, if you can say something in the comments, if you can hear, okay? Just want to make sure. A lot of times there's usually a 15 or 20-second delay when people type messages in, so it'll take me a second to see them. All right, I've got everything here ready to go. All right. All right, so we'll go ahead and get started. I don't want to keep everybody too late, but my name is Colin McCullough. I'm going to be doing a cooking class tonight, cooking demo for breakfast smoothies that taste like dessert. So I've taught a couple of classes so far at the Uxbridge Library. We did a sauces class, and I think we did a healthy desserts class, and we did a soups class a while back up on the third floor. Last time I was up there, it was nice and hot. So today is a little cooler. And so, normally I do cooking classes at different libraries throughout New England. And so, in this time right now, we're doing all the classes online. So instead of at the library, me bringing my kitchen to you, then this is my kitchen here. So, I was a little reluctant to do online classes at first because, you see some cooking classes and people have these big, beautiful kitchens, and mine is pretty tiny. I'm in a small apartment here, so is what it is. So you get to see where I am. So like I said, my name is Colin McCullough. I teach these cooking classes. I've been vegan for about 25 years. And I have two boys who are 17 and 21, just turned 21. So, and they have always been vegan. It's one thing for me to try and eat healthy, but, to try to get my kids to eat healthy, that's has been that much more of a challenge as a vegan and as a parent. So, one of the reasons that I teach these classes is to try and make, these healthy recipes more accessible to people. So, whether or not you're vegan or vegetarian, a lot of people, most of the people that I teach for in classes are not. They're just looking for healthier recipes. So I like to be able to do that. I did write, this is probably backwards on the screen, but the Healthy Vegan Cookbook, I came out with that. That was published last year. And all 4 of the recipes that we're going to be doing tonight are from the Healthy Vegan Cookbook. That is available on Amazon. So if you just look up the Healthy Vegan Cookbook or my name, Colin McCullough, then you'll be able to find that on there as well. So tonight we're going to be doing different smoothies. So breakfast smoothies that taste like dessert. I really I've always liked the idea of doing smoothies for breakfast. I like to have something that I can, put in the blender have it do all the work. I'll put it in a mason jar and just bring it to work. And so I can just drink it over the course of the morning. I definitely don't recommend with smoothies, it's not something that you want to just guzzle, even if it tastes really good, then you don't want to guzzle it. You want to drink it over the course of, several hours. That way it keeps you full all morning and, gives you lots of energy. So, I started out just making smoothies, put in some almond milk, put in some, frozen fruit, some fresh fruit. And, for me, like after a while, that kind of gets boring. I started to experiment with smoothies that try to replicate the taste of different desserts. So, for example, tonight we're going to be making a carrot cake smoothie, Black Forest Smoothie, chocolate cherry. So, we're going to be making 4 different recipes. Unfortunately, with this being online, you don't get to taste it. That's always a big part of the class, is to be able to hand out samples and have other people, have everybody try them. But unfortunately, not able to do that. So it all goes in my fridge, and I guess I make breakfast for the next 4 days right now. So let's see. Before we get started, just wanted to mention the star of the show, as always, is the Vitamix, which is a high-power blender. These are pretty expensive new if you were going to buy something like this. I believe they generally start at about $350. You can get them in Target, $350. You can definitely find them used on Craigslist, on eBay for much cheaper than that. Vitamix sells them refurbished for a lot cheaper. You can do Black Friday sale after Thanksgiving, and that has a pretty good discount as well. So you don't need a Vitamix, but this is one thing that I say, if you're trying to eat healthier and you are willing to invest some money, then a Vitamix is really a great investment. A really powerful blender really helps a lot with smoothies and soups and sauces and dressings and all kinds of things. If there was, I do a lot of cooking. If there was one appliance in my kitchen that went down tomorrow, it would be the Vitamix. I would go and buy another one immediately. I wish I was paid by Vitamix to say that. So if you're watching Vitamix, then please sponsor me. But you can also use like a mid-level blender, like a Ninja or a NutriBullet or something like that. So you can get something like that. It's not going to come out quite as smooth as a high powerful blender, and there would be a couple of extra steps that you would need to take if you were not using a really powerful blender, but we'll definitely cover all that. Also, in the course of going over the different recipes here, if there are any specialty ingredients, then we'll definitely talk about that, and I can tell you, where to get those. But for the most part, most of these recipes are using things that you would be able to find in a regular supermarket. So first one we're going to start with today is the carrot cake smoothie. So this was one of the first smoothies that I wrote the recipe for, to try to mimic a dessert. So basically, I started going through different dessert recipes and tried to break down, like, what are the essential tastes of different things like carrot cake. And then, it turns out, obviously, besides the carrot in it, but it's the spices. It's the cinnamon, there's ginger, there's nutmeg, a little bit of clove in there. And, when you have a piece of carrot cake, like, that's really what you're tasting. So, my idea has been to try to make these smoothie recipes that taste like dessert, but make them in a way that it is, whole food, healthy ingredients and things like that. So why don't we get started? So the first ingredient I put in, instead of adding almond milk, one benefit of having a powerful blender is that you can just make it fresh. One benefit of making it fresh and doing it in the blender like that is, when you buy almond milk in the store, if you buy any kind of plant-based milk, then it's been blended, water and nuts or oats or something like that has been blended. And then they strain out all of the pulp, which is actually where most of the nutrients are, is in the pulp. And also the pulp is what really helps to keep you full throughout the morning. really helps with satiety. So I definitely, I don't like to use store-bought almond milk. It's with a powerful blender, you can just put it in and blend it, and it does all the work. So, all right, we'll get started here. So I'll put in 1/3 cup of raw almonds. I don't like to use any kind of like toasted almonds, salted, anything like that. I just prefer to use the raw so it's unprocessed. So there's 1/3 cup of the almonds. And by the way, I will be posting all of these recipes on the video notes underneath. So you'll have all these, you don't have to write it all down. So 1/3 cup of the almonds and 2 cups of water here. All right, so one thing that I'll do with all of these recipes is I add the base, like, for almonds or for oats, or, whatever it is that you want to make for a plant-based milk. I would blend those first, just blend it for a minute, just so it has a chance to kind of break up the almonds, and before you add all the rest of the ingredients into it. So I'm going to blend this. If you want to turn it down for a minute or something, if it's too loud, then go for that. All right. So I just need to blend that for a minute. And then, so we're going to put in the next ingredients. The next one is going to be 1 apple cord, and I like to slice it up. I have a little apple slicer thing, that works well. So put in the apple. I'm going to put in 1 medium carrot. It's unpeeled, because of course the peel is where most of the nutrients are. So keep that on. With a powerful blender like this, you're really not going to need to, chop the carrot. The Vitamix is going to do most of the work for you. So if you don't have a powerful blender, then you might want to use a chef's knife and chop that up a little bit better. I'm going to put in 1 frozen banana. So in any smoothie recipe, I usually will use some banana or some mango. It basically does the same thing. It really helps to make a smoothie more creamy. So I kind of put this in as a base in each one. So there's the banana. I'm going to put in 2 medjool dates. So that's these here. This is a natural form of sweetener. This might be something that in a regular supermarket you might have a harder time finding. You can definitely always find dates in the supermarket, but usually for sale you might find the smaller Deglet Noir dates that are already pitted. These are the larger medjool dates, which usually have pits in them. I go to Trader Joe's and just buy them. They have them unpitted there, or pitted already, I should say. But I like to use dates as a natural form of sweetener. I don't use any sugar or honey or agave nectar or maple syrup for the most part. Again, trying to use unprocessed ingredients, trying to use as much whole food ingredients as possible. That's how I like to start my day. Another nice thing with the dates as a natural form of sweetener is that, it's different from using any other kind of sugar, because it has all this fiber in it. Because it's a whole fruit, it's not processed. So, it's not going to spike your blood sugar and give you a sugar rush or anything like that, especially if you're drinking this slowly over the course of a morning. Definitely not going to be an issue. So put the dates in there. And also, if you don't have a powerful blender, this might be something that you would want to soak these for 10 or 15 minutes in hot water. This would really kind of soften them up and make them easier to be able to blend. So put the dates in. Next one is flax seeds. So I don't want to dump it over here, but flax seeds, in almost all of the smoothie recipes that I have, I usually put in some kind of seeds, whether it's flax seeds or chia seeds or hemp seeds. Seeds are like little nutritional powerhouses, lots of nutrition in a tiny little package. So I usually put in about a tablespoon, of some kind of seed. You're really not going to taste it in a small amount like that, but again, it's just loaded with nutrition. So I'll throw that in. These are whole flax seeds. If you didn't have a powerful blender, then you would want to either buy already ground flax meal, or you can put these in like a little kind of coffee grinder kind of thing, and that would grind these down to a powder, because Vitamix can definitely handle blending this in and grinding up the seeds, but would be harder to do in a blender that's not really powerful. So put that in. All right, we're going to put in about a teaspoon of vanilla. In this recipe, that's pretty important. The vanilla is really going to help to give it a dessert kind of taste to it, like a cake. So pour that in. And then the rest is just going to be a blend of different spices here. So I have half a teaspoon of cinnamon, a quarter teaspoon of powdered ginger, an eighth of a teaspoon of ground nutmeg, and an eighth of a teaspoon of ground cloves. Especially the cloves are pretty strong. You don't have to put in that much. So I just kind of mix these all together ahead of time. One benefit of doing this online instead of live is you don't have to watch me have to measure out all the ingredients. I've already put everything out and prepared it already, so you don't have to listen to my lame jokes while I'm doing all the prep work here. So I'll just going to run this for a minute or two and blend it up, and then we'll have that smoothie ready to go. All right. So I'm not entirely certain that the chat comments are turned on if people are able to put in a comment. If that's the case, then I'm really sorry. I will try to see what I can do afterwards to enable them if they're not there already. And like I said, I will have the recipes put in at the end. And once, if you have any comments, then you can post it on the video after it's all done. By the way, this video is going to be on the Uxbridge Public Library YouTube page. So you'll be able to watch this afterwards and go back. And if you are unsure about any of the quantities or anything, or about anything that I put in, then you'll be able to go back and watch this again later. So this is the carrot cake smoothie. So all of the smoothies in my cookbook make about a quart here. So this is usually what I just fill up and take it to work every day. So rinse this out. So another benefit of doing this live is that I get to have my kitchen sink right here. So you don't have to wait a few minutes for for it to be cleaned and ready for the next one. So it's ready right away. So this carrot cake smoothie, and let me put the next ingredients over here. There we go. So, by the way, in the cookbook, in the Healthy Vegan cookbook that I wrote, there are 30 different smoothie recipes. So like I said, that's usually what I like to have for breakfast every day. And so that I didn't start to get bored with having the same thing over and over again, then I wrote out 30 different smoothie recipes. So you can have something different every day, and it's always going to be interesting. So, hi, Sarah. Okay, comments do work. All right. So for this recipe, I'm going to put in, like I said, I always start with a base of oats or nuts or something like that. In this recipe, I'm actually going to combine the two. So I have about 1/3 of a cup blend of some almonds and some oats. Some people don't really like full oats. If you put in 1/3 of a cup of oats and then water, then kind of has a bit of a thicker consistency to it. But in this case, I kind of made a blend of the two. So there's whole oats and almonds. And then I'm going to add in usually I put in 2 cups of water in most of the smoothies. In this one, by the way, this is the orange creamsicle smoothie. I should have said that right away. So I'm trying to make it taste like an orange creamsicle, but using whole food healthy ingredients. So normally in a creamsicle recipe, you would have yogurt to add a bit of a tang. So you can add just 2 cups of water as the liquid for this, but if you wanted to, you could use a mixture, like 1 cup of water and 1 cup of yogurt. In my case, like I said, I do a lot of cooking. I have an Instant Pot electric pressure cooker, which if you came to one of the soups classes that I did at the library, you would have seen those. So one of the benefits of using the Instant Pot is it does have a yogurt making feature on it. And as a vegan, then it's really super easy with an Instant Pot to make vegan yogurt. It does make a lot at a time. It's usually almost 3 pints of yogurt, vegan yogurt, whenever you make it. So what I usually do is use a little bit, and then I will put the rest in ice cube trays and just freeze it so that I can use it when I want to. So I know this kind of probably looks weird, but this is 1 cup of water and about 1 cup of the yogurt that's been frozen. So I have that in. And of course, we got to blend that for a minute just to get that broken down. Somebody was asking me in one of the classes that I did recently if I can tell you how to make regular dairy yogurt in the Instant Pot. I don't know how to do that. Like I said, I've been vegan for 25 years, so that isn't something I've ever tried to do. But vegan yogurt is really super easy to make in the Instant Pot. I actually have a recipe for that in the cookbook with the instructions on how to do that. Basically, I just use soy milk, unflavored, unsweetened soy milk, and add that with some acidophilus pills, and just put that in the Instant Pot overnight, and then put it in the refrigerator, and it's good to go. It's super easy. So you get all the probiotic benefits and everything of yogurt, especially if you've ever had plant-based yogurt, then you would know that it is kind of expensive. It's a little pricey, but it's super easy and cheap to make at home. So I never buy it. I just make it at home. All right. So orange creamsicle smoothie, we put in the almonds and oats in here. We put in 2 cups of water. Next thing we're going to put in is an orange. So I peeled that. And so I put in 1 large navel orange. So there's no seeds in that. Like I said, you can put in 1 banana to make it creamy, or you can put in frozen mango. Would do, pretty much the same thing. So, I love fresh mango, but it is kind of messy and it's a little time consuming to have to cut around the pit and everything. It's really so much easier for me in the morning if I'm trying to get out the door and I need to make a smoothie quick. I get frozen mangoes from the supermarket and, just take some out of the bag. It's so easy. As the alternative with the bananas is, what I usually do is buy a couple of bunches of bananas at a time. I wait until the peels turn yellow with tiny, just a little bit of brown spots, so it's ripe. I'll take the peels off and then take the banana and break it in half, and then put all those banana halves in the freezer in a Ziploc bag, and I'll just keep that in the freezer. So, I can just pull it out whenever I want. So that way I don't have to worry about, bananas rotting on the shelf or anything like that. It's much easier to do that. So we put in the mango, 1 cup of mango. Going to put in half of a medium carrot. So again, just kind of break it up a little bit, put it in. Going to put in 3 medjool dates. So with the yogurt, it's going to be a little bit tangy. So I want to add just a little bit more just to make it a little bit sweeter as well. So there's the dates. Last recipe, we used flax seeds. This is hemp seeds, so hemp hearts. This is something that is getting more and more available at regular supermarkets. If you can't find it, I think I was able to find these pretty easily at Market 32 in Sutton. But this is something that you can get at Trader Joe's, or, Whole Foods would have these. It's definitely the kind of thing that you keep it in the fridge and it lasts for months. I'll put these seeds in. And also hemp seeds, I put in a tablespoon of that. Doesn't really have a very strong taste. You're not going to taste it in the smoothie, but again, it just kind of adds a shot of nutrition in there. I'm going to put in 1 teaspoon of vanilla here. Go. I'm going to put in 1/8 of a teaspoon of turmeric. So I always like to look for opportunities to use turmeric, the yellow spice here, in recipes. I don't use a lot of it in something like this. It's about 1/8 of a teaspoon or 1/4 of a teaspoon. Definitely turmeric has a very earthy taste to it, so you don't want that to stand out in the smoothie here. So just put a little bit, but if you follow any of the health blogs or anything like that, then the health doctors are always promoting the health benefits of turmeric. So try to put it in. Here you have, just to kind of give the orange creamsicle smoothie more of a punch of orange taste. I put in, this is orange zest from the orange that I got. And so I'll put that in. Or you can just use some orange extract. Sometimes if I don't have a fresh orange, then I'll just put in, to do the zest, then I'll just put in a couple drops of orange extract. And again, not necessary, but it just kind of helps to punch the orange flavor through and make it really strong, and it tastes great that way. So I'm going to blend that up. So people ask how long to blend the smoothies for. Basically, I tell, it's usually a couple of minutes, but the main way that I tell is sort of by listening. So, when it's not fully blended, there's going to be the seeds and the pieces of dates and everything that are getting blended up, and you kind of hear that ticking against the pitcher. You hear it blending up, you hear that it's not really quite uniform and blended and smooth yet. So here we go, pour that in. And this is the orange creamsicle smoothie. Love it. It's great. All right. So, like I said, I started making smoothies a long time ago with, just some almond milk and frozen fruit, fresh fruit, and, just kind of whatever was in my freezer, I would throw it in there. And, it's good, but like I said, it kind of gets boring. To me, it started getting boring after a while. I like to have something that tastes like dessert for breakfast, but have it be super healthy, and then drink it throughout the course of the morning. And it gives me, lots of energy and keeps me full all morning. If I just sat down and had, several pieces of fruit, then, fruit digests really quickly. So, I might eat a bunch of fruit, and then, half an hour later, I'm hungry again, which is really distracting for me, while I'm at work. So, to have a smoothie that I can just kind of sip on over the course of the morning, that's much preferable to me. And I still get all the benefits of the fruit. In a couple of these recipes, we have some carrots too. We got, some veggies thrown in. We got the seeds thrown in for nutrition. So, you drink this thing, it's like just a, liquid nutritional powerhouse. So let's see, next recipe we're going to do, move this stuff over here. This is going to be the gingerbread smoothie. So this is another one where, if you look up the ingredients of, how to make gingerbread, then, what are the essential tastes of that? It's the spices that's in it, really. It's the vanilla and cinnamon and nutmeg and allspice, mixed with everything else. That's really what's giving you that flavor. So, why not try to break that down into a whole food form? Whole food, healthy ingredients, you get the same taste, and you start your day with something that tastes like gingerbread. It's great. So this is a favorite when I do classes. People really like this one. So again, sorry, I'm not able to pass these out to everybody for you to taste. I wish that I could put it through the screen, but all right. So this one's going to be a combination of almonds and oats. So about 1/3 of a cup. I'll put that in. And let's see, some people are, allergic to tree nuts like almonds. You can definitely use oats in this as a replacement. Either one, it doesn't really have a very strong taste to it. Kind of sits in the background. So really, I think either one is going to work fine. There's 2 cups of water there. So get that blended up. I have to admit, I'm not really much of a morning person. So, when I wake up, I'm not awake for 2 hours before I go to work. I usually just kind of get myself out of bed and out of the shower, and then I have to go. So, I wrote all of these recipes to be pretty quick, so these would be things that you just throw in the blender, blend it up for a few minutes while you're going around and getting ready to go. And then it'll be ready and you can take it with you. So let's see, we're going to do 1 frozen banana. So that's here. All right, we're going to do another medium carrot broken into segments. I seem to have picked for tonight all of the recipes that have carrots in them. Most of them do not, but for whatever reason, for tonight, you get all the carrot recipes. But, again, like, this isn't really something that you're going to taste the carrot in it. It's just kind of something added in the background that has a lot of nutrition, a lot of vitamins in it. So, all right, we're going to do 1/2 a inch of sliced fresh ginger root here. So you don't have to peel it. Just make sure that it's clean. And, ginger is going to give this, a really strong, you really want a strong ginger taste. So I definitely would recommend that you use fresh ginger for this, but you can use powdered ginger if you want. So there's that. Going to put in 3 of the medjool dates here. All right, put those in. Make sure those don't have the pits in them. Vitamix is very powerful and can do many things, but it just breaks regular pits into baby pits, and you do not want that because it's really awful when you're drinking that. So we're going to do a tablespoon of blackstrap molasses. So blackstrap molasses is actually one of the only forms of sweetener besides dates that actually has some nutritional value to it. I don't really use it as a sweetener in recipes, in the smoothie recipes, but in gingerbread, there's always molasses in it. So it definitely gives it a very specific taste that it's kind of hard to do without molasses. So again, I'm not using a ton of it. It's really just to give it a specific flavor. So put that in. There's a tablespoon of molasses. There we go. Also love the taste, just like it is. And then put in a teaspoon of vanilla. Also a benefit of doing this live from my kitchen is I get to lick my fingers, which in the classes I always have gloves on. So, and then in this recipe, you can, again, put in a tablespoon of seeds. This time I'm going to put in some flax seeds. So those are there. And then I'm going to put in a mixture of a couple of different spices. So there's half a teaspoon of cinnamon here. There's a 1/4 teaspoon of nutmeg and a 1/4 teaspoon of allspice. So both nutmeg and allspice, again, a little bit goes a long way. But I really only use a little bit just to increase the flavor profile there. They're ready to go. So this is the gingerbread smoothie. There we go. Yep, love this one too. So people ask sometimes, with 30 different smoothie recipes, which one is your favorite? So we're going to do that one next. All right, here we go. And then I will move the last ingredient tray over. Go. So I saved the best for last. If anybody who has held on the whole time here, then this is my favorite smoothie recipe. And for other people too, I guess. This is the Black Forest Smoothie. So this is chocolate and cherry, like the cake. So I actually submitted this recipe to Veg News magazine, which, in the vegan world, the vegetarian world is a big magazine. They were having a best smoothie in the world challenge, recipe challenge. So there were hundreds of people that submitted their recipes. And so I didn't get in #1, but I did get into the top 10. So, I mean, just that alone was a huge honor. That was great. So this is one of the top 10 smoothies in the world right here. And also this is in the cookbook as well. So also just wanted to throw in there, it seems like the chat stream does work. So earlier I wasn't sure. So if you want to throw something in the chat, if you have any questions or comments or anything like that, then I will be able to see those as we're doing this recipe. All right. One of the benefits of doing the live classes in the library is, everybody can put up their hand and ask a question, and, whether it's a beginner question or not, doesn't matter. I'm happy to, this is what I'm here for. So I'm happy to answer any questions you have. Black Forest Smoothie. So this is one where I really don't even look at the recipe anymore. I make this all the time, but in the class in front of people, then I do try to follow the recipes so I don't forget anything. I'm going to do 1/3 cup of almonds. So you will notice in the cookbook that I do use almonds a lot. You can use cashews instead in a smoothie. I like to use the almonds, but cashews are very soft nut, so they're easy to blend. If you don't have a high power blender, then something like almonds or cashews, you would probably want to soak it for a little while just to kind of soften those up. You can use other nuts like walnuts or pecans or pistachios, macadamia, things like that. Certainly macadamia would get expensive pretty quickly, but all those other nuts, they're great, but they have a very specific taste to them. And in a smoothie, something like walnuts or macadamia nuts, something like that, really kind of stands out. It has a strong taste to it. And, with these smoothies, like Black Forest, I really want the cherry flavor to really come through strongly. So I don't want anything to be competing with that. So almonds have a pretty neutral taste to them in a smoothie. So there's 1/3 cup of almonds, and then 2 cups of water. So, if you don't really like almonds, or maybe you have a big bag of cashews in the pantry or in the refrigerator, then that works fine as well. So blend these. So also one alternative, if you're allergic to nuts or really sensitive to nuts, is you can use coconut. Coconut is not a nut, despite the name. It is technically a dried drupe. So not a nut. A lot of people who are allergic or sensitive to nuts are able to have coconut. So you can crack open fresh coconut, get the coconut meat out, and then put that in a Ziploc bag, put it in the freezer, and that way you can just use it whenever you want. Or if you wanted to use the dried coconut in a bag that you can buy at the store, then that works too. You can use that too. So we've blended the water and the nuts together. Now we're going to put in this case, normally it calls for half of a frozen banana, but this time we're going to put in some frozen mangoes. So put that in. Like I said, you can use either the mangoes or the banana, either way. It just really helps to kind of give it a creamy base to the smoothie. So next is 1.5 cups of frozen cherries. So as much as I love fresh cherries, definitely does take a while to go through and take the pits out and everything. Frozen cherries are just, it's so convenient and easy. I probably have this smoothie, once a week at least. I said I get bored of having the same thing every day. Maybe not this one. This one is so good. I could almost have it every day. It's really good. So, any kind of frozen berry is going to work. So you could use cherries, you could use blueberries, chocolate blueberry, chocolate raspberry, chocolate strawberry, any kind of fruit you want to put in there. Even oranges taste really good as a combination. So I'm going to use 1.5 cups of the frozen cherries here. All right, next ingredient, we're going to put in 4 of the medjool dates. So like I said, the dates really add sweetness to it. So, it's really subjective. So I know some people who, 4 dates would be way, way, way too sweet. So you could just use 1 or 2, or use none at all. If you don't want to use dates, that's fine. If you really don't want things to be so sweet, then you can use less of these if you want. That's fine. So there's the dates. I'm going to put in 2 tablespoons of cacao powder. So this cacao powder, it's really similar to cocoa powder. It's basically just the raw, uncooked version of cocoa powder. So it's less processed. I do try to eat more unprocessed foods, whole foods. So, I like to use the raw cacao, but if you have cocoa powder on hand, you can use that too. So, when people talk about, sometimes I'll see online like chocolate is good for you, which is sort of true. Chocolate does have antioxidants. It does actually have healthy properties to it, but it also has a lot of sugar and a lot of fat in it. But in this case, if you use the cacao powder, then the cacao powder is actually, this is the thing that is healthy about chocolate. This is what has the antioxidants and nutrients in it. So this is also what's really giving it the chocolate taste. So in this smoothie, you use a couple of tablespoons of cacao powder, and it's going to make it taste nice and chocolatey, but the healthy version. So there you go. There's that. We're going to put in a tablespoon of chia seeds this time. So, chia seeds, sometimes people will blend it or make chia pudding with it. There's a number of different things, chia pets also with these, but you put in a tablespoon of chia seeds, and again, you're not really going to taste it in here. Chia seeds are, really full of nutrition. So it's really great to put that in there just for a little extra boost of nutrition. Again, becoming more and more available at regular supermarkets. I believe that I have found those at Market 32 in Sutton, but definitely Trader Joe's has them. You can get it at Whole Foods. You can put it in the freezer and the refrigerator, lasts a long time. So, all right, next ingredient we're going to put in is some vanilla here. So we put in about a teaspoon. This one I don't even measure because, like I said, I make this so much I don't get the measuring spoons out. Next couple of ingredients are not going to be required, but this is what really takes this smoothie to the next level. So this is going to be almond extract. So this would be more of like a Whole Foods kind of thing. You can definitely order this, and like any of the seeds or anything like that, you can definitely order that online on Amazon, on eBay. Just comes to your door. You don't even have to go shopping for it. Almond flavor, it's used in a lot of different cherry desserts. And so it really kind of like enhances the cherry flavor. So you do have 1.5 cups of frozen cherries in here. So you're definitely going to get cherry flavor from that. But if you put in about 1/2 teaspoon of almond extract, it's really going to punch out that cherry taste and make it that much stronger. So like I said, about 1/2 teaspoon there. You don't need that much. And then the last ingredient I'm going to put in here is, this one is kind of a specialty ingredient. This is espresso powder, right? So this is just ground espresso beans. And I'm only using about 1/4 teaspoon of the espresso powder, which is really important. You only use a little bit. So the espresso powder is sort of like a baker's secret in chocolate desserts. You put in just a little bit, like 1/4 teaspoon. That's actually going to make the chocolate taste a lot richer. But you're not, in 1/4 teaspoon, you're not actually going to taste the espresso powder at all. It just kind of sit in the background, just like salt, kind of sit in the background and just enrich the flavors that are already there. and support those. So I'll put that in. There's the espresso powder. That one, honestly, I usually order that online on Amazon. King Arthur makes a espresso powder. I definitely would not recommend putting in like coffee grounds or anything like that. It has to be a really fine powder. And like I said, just a little bit of that is going to boost up the flavor. So a quarter teaspoon of the espresso powder. I'll blend all this together. So this is the Black Forest Smoothie. I can smell it already. It smells terrific. There we go. So like I said, this is one that I would be happy to drink this almost every day. It tastes so good. Yeah, some people have told me that, it tastes like brownie batter, or, when I've, first made this recipe for my kids, their eyes were just huge. They're like, this is breakfast. We get to have this for breakfast. It's really super healthy, all healthy ingredients. When I make this in a class and I hand out samples to people, then, people are always amazed because, they saw what went into it. They saw all the healthy ingredients that I put into it. But, it doesn't taste like a healthy recipe. It tastes like dessert. So, if you can start out your day having something that tastes like dessert, I have a sweet tooth. I love to have something sweet for breakfast. So, this is a great way for me to start my day. As opposed to, having cereal or like pancakes or, something like that, to me, whenever I have that, it just like, it feels so heavy. It's such a heavy way to start the day with something that, it's harder for your body to be able to, do something with pancakes or cereal. It's so processed, but, something like this loaded with fruit and some nuts and seeds, like your body knows exactly what to do with this. This is really healthy, very easy for you to digest, very easy for your body to process. And then that's just going to give you energy all morning long. So, that's how I like to start my day out. So I think that's going to be it for tonight. We have the 4 smoothie recipes. I am going to post the recipes in the notes under for the video here. So you have all 4 of those, so you don't have to write them all down. You can go back and, check anything over that you want to in the video afterwards. And hello to everybody who is not watching this on live, but later on, this is going to be on the library YouTube page for Uxbridge. And also I want to say a huge thank you to Uxbridge Library and the friends for being able to have me here tonight to do the class. And I'll just do a quick plug again for, this is backwards, but the Healthy Vegan Cookbook has all the recipes in from tonight. Plus, I have 30 smoothie recipes in the book. I also have 30 different sauce recipes for, what I usually have for dinner on a lot of nights is some kind of a bowl meal of like a bowl with a base of, rice or quinoa, something like that. I'll have some kind of protein like beans or tofu or something like that. Put some fresh veggies or some frozen veggies on that. Very healthy. Sounds kind of boring, but You know, if you have a really good sauce, then that makes all the difference. My kids would eat kale all day long if it had a really good sauce on it. So, you know, that's one strategy that I have used to get my kids to eat healthier food, besides the smoothies. So 30 different sauce recipes in the book, and all kinds of other recipes besides that, healthy desserts and everything. So again, thank you for watching tonight. And unless anybody else has any questions, then I will wrap up and say have a wonderful night. And like I said, if you have any questions or comments, then just put it in the comments below, and I'll be able to get back to you that way. All right. Thank you.